Wing Chun is a concept-based Chinese martial art and form of self-defense utilizing both striking and grappling while specializing in close-range combat. History. The earliest known mentions of Wing Chun date to the period of Red Boat Opera. The common legend as told by Yip Man involves the young woman Yim Wing Chun during the period after the destruction by the Qing government of the southern Shaolin and its associated temples. Having rebuffed the local warlord's marriage offer, Yim Wing Chun said she'd reconsider the proposal if he could beat her in a fight. She soon crossed paths with a Buddhist nun named Ang Mui, who was one of the Shaolin sect survivors, and asked the nun to teach her to fight. According to legend, Ang Mui taught Yim Wing Chun a new system of martial art that had been inspired by the nun's observations of a confrontation between a snake and a crane. This then still nameless style enabled Yim Wing Chun to beat the warlord in a one-on-one fight. Yim Wing Chun thereafter married Lung Biacitu and taught him the style, which was later named after her. Since the system was developed during the Shaolin and Ming resistance to the Qing dynasty, many legends, including the story of Yim Wing Chun, were spread regarding the creation of Wing Chun in order to confuse enemies. This is often given as a reason to explain the difficulty in accurately determining the creator or creators of Wing Chun. Lexicology. Wing Chun is the most common romanization from the Chinese traditional Chinese, simplified Chinese, pinyin, Yong Chun, Cantonese Jutping, Wing 6 Ceon 1, literally, spring chant. It is also romanized as Ving Tsun or Wing Tsun, even though it could be considered a linguistically erroneous romanization, at least from English-speaking countries' perspective. Especially in Finland, Germany and Turkey, Wing Chun schools are usually called Wing Sung. The alternative characters, Eternal Spring, are also associated with some other southern Chinese martial arts, including Weng Chun Kung Fu and Yong Chun. Philosophy. He who excels as a warrior does not appear formidable. One who excels in fighting is never aroused in anger. One who excels in defeating his enemy does not join issues. One who excels in employing others humbles himself before them. This is the virtue of non-contention and matching the sublimity of heaven. Characteristics. Balance, structure and stance. Some Wing Chun practitioners believe that the person with better body structure will win. A correct Wing Chun stance is like a piece of bamboo, firm but flexible, rooted but yielding. This structure is used to either deflect external forces or redirect them. Balance is related to structure because a well-balanced body recovers more quickly from stalled attacks and structure is maintained. Wing Chun trains the awareness of one's own body movement derived from muscular, tendon, and articular sources. Performing Wing Chun's forms such as Chum Kiu or the wooden dummy form greatly improve proprioception. Wing Chun favors a high, narrow stance with the elbows kept close to the body. Within the stance, arms are positioned across the vitals of the center line. Shifting or turning within a stance is carried out variantly on the heels, balls, or middle of the foot depending on lineage. All attacks and counter-attacks are initiated from this firm, stable base. Wing Chun rarely compromises structure for more powerful attacks because this is believed to create defensive openings which may be exploited. Structure is viewed as important, not only for reasons of defense, but also for attack. When the practitioner is effectively rooted, or aligned so as to be braced against the ground, the force of the hit is believed to be far more devastating. Additionally, the practice of settling one's opponent to brace them more effectively against the ground aids in delivering as much force as possible to them. Relaxation, softness and performing techniques in a relaxed manner is fundamental to Wing Chun. Tension reduces punching speed and power. Muscles act in pairs in opposition to each other. If the arm is tensed, maximum punching speed cannot be achieved as the biceps will be opposing the extension of the arm. In Wing Chun, the arm should be relaxed before beginning the punching motion. Unnecessary muscle tension wastes energy and causes fatigue. Tense, stiff arms are less fluid and sensitive during trapping and kai sao. A tense, stiff limb provides an easy handle for an opponent to push or pull with, whereas a relaxed limb provides an opponent less to work with. A relaxed but focused limb affords the ability to feel holes or weaknesses in the opponent's structure. With the correct forwarding, these holes grant a path into attacking the opponent. Muscular struggle reduces a fighter who is stronger. Minimum brute strength in all movement becomes an equalizer in uneven strength confrontations. This is very much in the spirit of the tale of Eng Mui. Centerline. While the existence of a central axis concept is unified in Wing Chun, the interpretation of the centerline concept itself is not. Many variations exist, with some lineages defining anywhere from a single centerline to multiple lines of interaction and definition. Traditionally, the centerline is considered to be the vertical axis from the top of a human's head to the groin. The human body's prime striking targets are considered to be on or near this line, including eyes, nose, throat, solar plexus, stomach, pelvis and groin. Wing Chun techniques are generally closed, with the limbs drawn in to protect the central area and also to maintain balance. In most circumstances, the hands do not move beyond the vertical circle that is described by swinging the arms in front, with the hands crossed at the wrists. To reach outside this area, footwork is used. A large emphasis and time investment in training Kai Sao exercise emphasizes positioning to dominate this center line. The stance and guard all point to through the center to concentrate physical and mental intent of the entire body to the one target. Wing Chun practitioners attack within this central area to transmit force more effectively, since it targets the core center. For example, striking an opponent's shoulder will twist the body, dispelling some of the force and weakening the strike, as well as compromising the striker's position. Striking closer to the center transmits more force directly into the body. Punches due to the emphasis on the center line. The straight punch is the most common strike in Wing Chun. However, the principle of simultaneous attack and defense suggests that all movements in the Sun Nim Tao with a forward execution flow into a strike if no effective resistance is met, without need for recomposure. Other explicit examples of punches can be found in the Chum Kiu and Biuji forms. Although these punches may appear to be superficially different, they are simply the result of the punch beginning from a different origin position, while following the same fundamental idea. To punch in a straight line following the shortest distance between the fist and the opponent. The punch is the most basic and fundamental in Wing Chun and is usually thrown with the elbow down and in front of the body. Depending on the lineage, the fist is held anywhere from vertical to horizontal. The contact points also vary from the top two knuckles, to the middle two knuckles, to the bottom three knuckles. Punches do not turn at the wrist, as a primal directive is economy of motion, and this would create two distinct motions for a single movement. When executing the punch, one must relax and not use the shoulders or activate the trapezius muscles. The punch comes from the center. Kuin Yo Summa Fat. The punch is not propelled forward by the elbow. It is projected by simply reaching forward with a closed but relaxed fist, as it is a maxim that the body part closest to the intended direction begins the motion. Wing Chun primarily encourages utilizing the whole upper body from the waist to maximize power. This is often referred to as coiling, which increases impact and minimizes telegraphing strikes, and is motivated by observations of the snake. punches that do not utilize maximum body mass, such as punches thrown in quick succession in a straight blast or chain punching, are executed correctly. When used primarily for disorienting and off-balancing the opponent, criticisms of favoring weak punches are a misunderstanding of their intended purpose. Wing Chun favors the vertical punch for several reasons. Directness. The punch is not loaded by pulling the elbow behind the body. The punch travels straight towards the target from the guard position. Protection. The elbow is kept low to cover the front midsection of the body. It is more difficult for an opponent to execute an elbow lock break when the elbow occupies this position. This aids in generating power by use of the entire body structure rather than only the arm to strike. Also, with the elbow down, it offers less opening for the body to be attacked, while the forearm and punch intercept space towards the head and upper body. Strength and impact. Wing Chun practitioners believe that because the elbow is behind the fist during the strike, it is thereby supported by the strength of the entire body rather than just a swinging fist, and therefore has more impact. A common analogy is a baseball bat being swung at someone's head, as opposed to the butt end of the bat being thrust forward into the opponent's face, which would cause far more damage than a glancing hit and is not as easy to evade. Many skilled practitioners pride themselves on being able to generate short power, or large amount of power in a short space. A common demonstration of this is the 1-inch punch, a punch that starts only an inch away from the target yet delivers an explosive amount of force. This is a principal example of a coiled strike in which multiple abdominal muscles can contribute to the punching power while being imperceptible to the attacker. It is a common misconception that 1-inch punches utilize a snapping of the wrist, alignment and amp structure. Because of Wing Chun's usage of stance, the vertical punch is thus more suitable. The limb directly in front of the chest, elbow down. Vertical nature of the punch coupled with a snap twisting of the waist requires a practitioner's body to naturally untwist or release before the rebound of the punch. This effectively demonstrates an understanding of the equal and opposite force reactions attributed to Newtonian physics. This is a desirable trait to a Wing Chun practitioner because it promotes the use of the entire body structure to generate power and prevents wrist injury or being pushed away by the high degree of forward power being reflected. Kicks. Kicks can be explicitly found in the Chum Kiu and Muk Jong forms, though some have made interpretations of small leg movements in the Sun Nim Tao and Bilji to contain information on kicking as well. Depending on lineage, a beginner is often introduced to basic kicking before learning the appropriate form. Traditionally, kicks are kept below the waist. This is characteristic of Southern Chinese martial arts, in contrast to Northern systems which utilize many high kicks. Kicks in Wing Chun are mostly directed at the lower half of the body. Wing Chun kicks are designed to knock an opponent off balance, break their leg, or to bring an opponent on the knees. Variations on a front kick are performed striking with the heel. The body may be square and the knee and foot are vertical on contact, or a pivot may be involved with the foot and knee on a plane at an angle. At short distances this can become a knee. A roundhouse kick is performed striking with the shin in a similar manner to the Muay Thai version, with most of the power coming from the body. Pivot. This kick is usually used as a finisher at closer range, targeting anywhere between the ribs and the back of the knee. This kick can also become a knee at close range. Other kicks include a stamping kick for very close range and a sweep performed with the heel in a circular fashion. Every kick is both an attack and defense, with legs being used to check incoming kicks or to take the initiative in striking through before a more circular kick can land. Kicks are delivered in one movement directly from the stance without chambering, cocking, Types of kicks include front kick, side kick, roundhouse kick, shovel kick, bonguk, naoguk, spinning back kick, sweep, elbows and knees. Wing Chun relies heavily on elbow strikes at close range. Common targets for elbows include the chest, chin, head, and face. Elbow strikes are delivered in a manner similar to Muay Thai, using the whole body and turning of the hips to generate power. Elbow strikes include rising elbow, horizontal elbow, kneeling elbow, reversing elbow, and spinning elbow strikes. Knees are delivered also, usually in a clinching position, but some Sifis also teach entering with flying knee strikes to bridge the distance. Uncommitted techniques. Wing Chun techniques are uncommitted. This means that if the technique fails to connect the practitioner's position, a balance is less affected. If the attack fails, the practitioner is able to flow easily into a follow-up attack. All Wing Chun techniques permit this. Any punches or kicks can be strung together to form a chain of attacks. According to Wing Chun theory, these attacks, in contrast to one big attack, break down the opponent, gradually causing internal damage. Chained vertical punches are a common Wing Chun identifier. Trapping skills and sensitivity. The Wing Chun practitioner develops reflexes within the searching of unsecured defenses through use of sensitivity. Training through Kai Sao with a training partner, one practices the trapping of hands. When an opponent is trapped, he or she becomes immobile. Chinese philosophy. Close-range Wing Chun teaches practitioners to advance quickly and strike at close range. While the Wing Chun forward kick can be considered a long-range technique, many Wing Chun practitioners practice entry techniques, getting past an opponent's kicks and punches to bring them within range of Wing Chun's close-range repertoire. This means that theoretically, if the correct techniques are applied, a shorter person with a shorter range can defeat a larger person by getting inside the range and attacking them close to the body. Curriculum. Forms and Sansik forms are meditative, solitary exercises which develop self-awareness, balance, relaxation and sensitivity. Forms also train the practitioner in the fundamental movement and the correct force generation of Wing Chun. Sansik are compact in structure. They can be loosely grouped into three broad categories. 1. Focus on building body structure through basic punching, standing, turning, and stepping drills. 2. Fundamental arm cycles and changes, firmly ingraining the cardinal tools for interception and adaptation. And 3. Sensitivity training and combination techniques. It is from the forms and Sansik that all Wing Chun techniques are derived. Depending on lineage, the focus, content and intent of each form can have distinct differences which can therefore have far-reaching implications. This also means that there are few different ideas concerning what constitutes progression in the curriculum from form to form. So only a general description of overlap between different schools of thought is possible here. What's commonly seen are 6 Wing Chun forms, 3 empty hand forms, 1 wooden dummy form, and 2 weapons forms. Empty hand wooden dummy forms. Both the Wei Yan and Nguyen Taekong branches use different curricula of empty hand forms. The Tam Yung and Feng Sang lineages both trace their origins to Lung Jan's retirement to his native village of Gulao, where he taught a curriculum of Sansik. The Su Lim Tao of Wing Chun is one long form that includes movements that are comparative to a combination of Su Lim Tao, Chum Kiu, a Biug of other families. The other major forms of the style are Sui Da, Chui Da, Fa Kuin, Jinjiang, Jin Kuin, Joy Kuin, Sup Sam Sao, and Kai Sao Lung. Also, a few family styles of Wing Chun have a combination advanced form called Sambai Fut, which includes many flow leak techniques from all of the first standard 6 forms. Weapons weapons. Once correct force generation in the open-handed forms is achieved, the student is ready to progress to weapons, with the open hand forms delivering force to the end of the fingertips. The idea is to be able to extend that force further to the end of a weapon as an extension of the body, using the same principles. Also, these weapons forms can be used as an exercise to strengthen the forearms and wrists even further. The Wenkei-shan Sum Nung branch also historically trained throwing darts. According to Sum Nung, his skill with them was not comparable enough to Wenkei-shan's for him to include them in the current curriculum. Kai-sao, or sticking hands, is a term for the principle and drills used for the development of automatic reflexes upon contact and the idea of sticking to the opponent. In reality, the intention is not to stick to your opponent at all costs, but rather to protect your centerline while simultaneously attacking your opponent's centerline. In Wing Chun, this is practiced by two practitioners maintaining contact with each other's forearms while executing techniques, thereby training each other to sense changes in body mechanics, pressure, momentum and feel. The increased sensitivity gained from this drill helps a practitioner attack and counter an opponent's movements precisely, quickly, and with appropriate techniques. Kai-sao additionally refers to methods of rolling hands drills. Lak-sao participants push and roll the forearms against each other in a single circle while trying to remain in relaxed form. The aim is to feel force, test resistance, and find defensive gaps. Other branches have a version of this practice where each arm rolls in small, separate circles. Lak-sao is most notably taught within the Pan Nam branch of Wing Chun, where both the larger rolling drills as well as the smaller, separate hand circle drills are taught. In some lineages, Kai-sao drills begin with one-armed sets called Dan Kai-sao, which help the novice student to get the feel of the exercise. Each practitioner uses one hand from the same side as they face each other. Kai-sao is a sensitivity drill to train and obtain specific responses and should not be confused with actual sparring of fighting, though it can be practiced or expressed in a combat form. Kai-geok, or sticking legs, is the lower body equivalent of the upper body's Kai-sao training, aimed on developing awareness in the lower body and obtaining relaxation of the legs. Mukwan, wooden ring, is another, somewhat rare training tool in some families of Wing Chun. An approximately 10-inch to 14-inch ring made of bamboo rattan, the mukwan is used for training the wrists and forearms, and to instruct the student in flow from technique to technique. Some schools set up a form for this technique, while other schools train techniques and strategies without a formulated pattern. Sash system. Although historically uncommon during the era of Yip Man and prior, there has been a trend of many schools and lineages adopting their own sash ranking system. Examples are as follows: William Chung lineage: white, light blue, blue, dark blue, light brown, dark brown. Black Sunny Tang lineage: no sash, red, green, blue, black. Austin Go lineage: yellow, green, blue, red, brown, black. Southern martial art: Wing Chun, together with Hung Gar and Choi Lei Fut, is named as one of the three great martial arts schools of the South, which originated and became popular in southern China. Global spread: Wing Chun is practiced globally in over 64 countries. It is the world's most popular form of southern kung fu. In popular culture, Donnie Yen has caused impact in the martial arts world through his various films. Donnie Yen played the role of Wing Chun Grandmaster Ip Man in the 2008 movie Ip Man, which was a box office success, and its sequels Ip Man 2 and Ip Man 3. Famous practitioners. Bruce Lee learned from Shifu Yip Man and Amp Wang Shunlong. Brandon Lee trained in Wing Chun as well as Jeet Kune Do, Muay Thai, and Amp Shaolin Kung Fu. Anderson Silva, one of the most successful MMA fighters of all time. Sammo Hung, Michelle Yeoh, Donnie Yen learned from Shifu Ip Chun. Jackie Chan learned from Shifu Lung Ting. Ray Sefo. Jeff Thompson learned from Shifu Wang Shunlong. Nicholas Tse learned from Philip Eng, T Lung, and Bio. Branches.